Red Bull gives you wings.
The Championship, not just at Kassam Stadium, but elsewhere. Of course, big London derby at the Valley. Charlton won, Millwall won. It finished there. Millwall got a late equaliser, and they're still playing at Deepdale, where it's Preston 2, Middlesbrough 2. Preston thought they were winning that one, scoring in the 88th minute to go 2-1 up, and then Borough scored in the 92nd, and it is still going. So that's going on. Arsenal are beating Nottingham Forest 3-0 in the Premier League as well. But of course, the game we care about at the Kassam Stadium, another entertaining game, and Leicester got a point with 10 men, and on the second half performance, deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely. And credit, first of all, has to go to the manager. For changing the formation, going a more attacking formation, even though the team are down to 10 men. I'm just wondering if Andy King had something to do with that, because I was saying at half time, I remember Nigel Pearson doing exactly the same thing here at King Power Stadium against Watford in the Championship, and I'm sure Andy King was playing that day. And Leicester won the game in the end easily by doing exactly the same thing, putting 2 up top, 3-man midfield, 4 at the back, and it worked a treat for Leicester today.
I thought we were the better team in the second half, even though we had 10 men. You know, we seemed to be finding loads of space, looked more threatening on the break. You know, we had the better chances with 10 men. You know, so fair play for the change that the manager made. You know, it was attacking. You know, he made 2 subs half time. You know, Winks coming on, start of the game, he gets on the ball really well and plays forward passes. You know, so I think that helped the fluidity of the lads, you know, trying to play forward. You know, and fully deserved point. You know, he deserved the equaliser. Could have easily won it in the end with a couple of chances more, but you know, I think 2-2, you take that away from home with 10 men.
Don't want to say you're a managerial mastermind, Tags, but just before half time, you said I think they're going to need some changes because of the sending off, essentially.
Yeah.
And one you said is Ricardo Pereira needs to come on because he gives that attacking outlet. And he certainly did, and he scored quite the goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great move. And this is, again, you know, with the changes that the manager made. And obviously Leicester having to get back into the game, then you need that creative spark from somewhere. Winks was an obvious one. Pereira, you're thinking, well, he'll give you width, but he'll also come inside and link the play and get in the attacking areas. And that's exactly what he did. And it's a lovely first time for it. Lovely give and go, lovely link-up play between himself and Abdul. Little give and go, and then the first time finish is exceptional. And we know he's got that. He's a top drawer player.
Well, the fact that when Abdul went up front, he received the ball in that striking area where he wouldn't have been if we had 11 men. So, and then obviously Ricardo's made the run where Abdul should have been, and then obviously he's played him through, and then Ricardo, you know, scoring last week as well against Birmingham, comes on a sub again, scores again. You know, 2-2 for him, and it was a great finish. You know, across the keeper, hard and low. You know, a really tough one for the keeper to save.
I think, you know, it's easy if you're defending a lead with 10 men. It's easier to make decisions as a manager and how you're going to go about one, keeping the lead, even though you're down to 10 men. But when you're chasing to get back into the game, you have to make some big decisions in the dressing room at half time. So again, you have to, you know, doff your cap to the manager. And, you know, let's face it, you've got Harry Winks, Ricardo Pereira sat on the bench. I mean, they're getting any other team in the Championship, definitely. And a few teams in the Premier League, let's put it like that.
Yeah, really entertaining game, and very good game to commentate on, because you use a lot of descriptive language. And I think Matt Elliott provided more descriptive language today than we've ever heard before on Fox's Hub, and he is still with us from the Kassam. Matt, it was a fantastically exciting game, lots going on, lots of action. Now that you've had a couple of minutes just to think about it all, how would you summarise this afternoon?
Are you suggesting that I was over-embellishing?
What were some of the best?
It's a peculiar game.
It's a peculiar game. Was one of our favourites.
Oh, that's nothing too outlandish, is it? But I suppose it's not something you hear every day. Yeah, it is for me. But no, it was enjoyable. I thought the first half was more dramatic, if you like, more action-packed. You know, obviously the more goals and the incidents of the red card and ball off the crossbar, and it was all a little bit haywire. But Leicester did well to, as the boys have said there, the manager first and foremost, with the change of tactics that enabled them to get some sort of control in the game. And yet Oxford are going to be where they're going to be for a reason. They have shortcomings, but they have attributes as well, and they showed both those aspects really today. And Leicester, you know, the manager's shown faith in himself and his players, I think, by making that positive change, as Jerry said there. It is different when you're chasing the game, obviously, but it has to be in a controlled way. And I thought that was maybe not a stroke of genius, it's perhaps a step too far, but it was extremely courageous and a acute tactical change. And Leicester deserves something out at the end of that. Yeah, I did probably. Yeah, they're probably about right, I suppose. All said and done, really. No one will be too unhappy with that draw, the way that the game transpired, and that hasn't dented Leicester's hopes or confidence at all, has it? Going into the next game, was it Coventry next week? All set up for a real ding dong there at the King Power.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think one thing Leicester will take away from it is being able to bounce back from adversity, if you like, going down to 10 men so early in the game and still being able to compete to quite a high level.
You know, we said that when second half kicked off. You know, we were getting on the ball more, we were creating more space. There shouldn't have been, but we did. You know, I think Winks was receiving the ball on the half turn, you know, playing passes forward. Winks was driving forward with the ball. It was like Oxford over compensated trying to get forward and leaving gaps for Leicester's counter-attack like they were trying to do to us in the first half. You know, so going down to 10 men, that kind of helped us a little bit because there was more space for us when Oxford piled forward to us to hit them on the counter-attack, and fully deserved point in the end, fully deserved the equaliser, and I think we fully deserved the point come 90 minutes.
Yeah, and I also think, you know, when you go that attacking and you realise that you are going to leave yourself open for the opposition attacks because they have got the extra man, you know, you've got to pay credit to the defensive display as well in that second half, because they, you know, the chances were you know, pretty few and far between for Oxford. Even though they did have territory, they were getting crosses into the box. But I think in the second half, defensively they looked a lot more solid. I would have said that the manager would have had a few things to say to the defensive line at half time, but whatever he did say definitely worked in the second half.
Well, what are your thoughts on that, Matt? Because Jerry had some thoughts certainly at half time and saying with regard to defensively today, the goals Leicester conceded, I suppose some would say were soft and avoidable.
Yeah, well, we've spoken recently about, you know, the sort of the grit and togetherness, determination, spirit, different adjectives to describe how Leicester have applied themselves of late, and that wasn't really there. And I wouldn't accuse them of going through the motions. Sometimes you're on it and sometimes you're not as a group, but you know, Oxford's one of those places where you have to come and be tuned in properly and be prepared for what's going to come your way in surges. It won't last throughout the entirety of the game. They haven't got the sustained quality for that, but they can cause you problems if they sense any sort of sloppiness or weakness. And I think I said in the commentary, I don't think they're sort of half-hearted, but I thought they were a little bit light-hearted at times. Didn't apply themselves as well as they have done over the last couple of games, which has been not the only, but the primary reason for me why they've picked up the points they have in those last two games. Charlton away, Birmingham at home. And maybe even if it's subconsciously, I'm not sure they were prepared for that sort of challenge again today. They wanted to think that they could just outplay Oxford, and a bit of sloppiness came into it, really. And I wouldn't be surprised if a word or two was said, not necessarily in anger, but the point may be made. Up your game, boys, up your game, or this game's going to slip away from you. And in fairness, if anything was said and any challenge was put to the players, they reacted to it well, didn't they? They reacted very well, as did the manager. And ultimately, everyone's coming out of this only with a point, but also with a feeling of positivity, I still think.
And Leicester fans got to see a couple of the new arrivals at the end of the window. Of course, Aaron Ramsey, it didn't go so well. And we saw Jordan James come on in the second half and have some nice touches. What were your thoughts of both players? I know before Aaron Ramsey's red card, how do you feel he settled into that game? I
think positionally, very well. I know if a couple of his few early touches didn't go the way he wanted them to, but you're also looking at the positions he's picking up on the pitch in relation to where Jordan Ayew is, into relation where the build-up play is, and so that side of the game, very, very good. He has a good understanding of the game. He didn't really get as far as him himself as an individual. He had that one really good shot. The keeper makes a save, and that obviously leads to him getting sent off. So we didn't see a lot of him in regards to opening his legs, joining in that attacking phase of play and getting one or two more shots off. But definitely positionally, understanding his role, then positive things.
Yeah, and then Jordan James comes on in the second half and certainly looked assured.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, he showed a lot of energy. If he come on like one of the free midfielders, but he was typically playing out wide when we had the ball to open the width up a little bit. He made a great run back to make a tackle to stop them from a scoring opportunity, which he won a goal kick from. So he again, it's hard for him to come on and make an impact when you're down to 10 men. All you can do is go in there, do the manager tells you what to do a job for the team, and hopefully something will happen. But I'm sure we'll see the best of both players. Come maybe hit the king power. When the crowd are behind them and we have a lot more of the ball, and we'll see the best of both players.
And it's not easy, is it?
No.
They've just come in the middle of an international break, basically.
He's been away with Wales as well, Jordan James, so he's probably had 2 days with the team.
Exactly.
Thursday, Friday training, and then playing today. So
it's not easy, especially when you're a new kid on the block. Well, there's 3 new kids on the block, but they obviously don't know each other that well, and they're coming in. It's like they might know some of the squad, the Leicester squad, but they don't know what the dressing room's like. And then obviously they're getting used to the way the manager wants to play, and so it just takes a little bit of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, Matt, you were kind of talking good things about Jordan James, someone that you're excited to see in a Leicester shirt. What is it about him that has impressed you previously to arriving at King Power Stadium?
Well, I think the most obvious, and the only time I've seen him live, there was obvious time, was Leicester against Birmingham away. At this stage of the season, I think, two years ago. He scored 2 goals in the game. Yeah. Showed his attributes then. It was Leicester played exceptionally well on the night, but so did Birmingham in spells, but not consistently enough. But he was a standout figure. I just, without getting carried away, I like everything I've seen about him. I like his energy, the way he sort of even holds himself. He sort of stands up. He looks quite elegant and sort of proud, but he's not too proud to not dig in and work hard. He's got quality. He's got athleticism. He's got an engine. I think he's. I don't know if he's out and out 2-footed, but I've seen him strike balls well with both feet. He put in a lovely cross early stages after coming on the pitch, and he just looks like a natural footballer to me, an all-round footballer. I was going to say that good at almost everything, but I think his capability of being
no pressure,
very good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting carried away. I mean, apparently that was his best game he's ever had in his life. That game against Leicester for Birmingham, right? But no, but I just liked him. He's got sort of a bit of a presence about him. You're saying about Tag saying there it's not easy to come and mix in. I might be totally wrong. I might just be going. I don't know what his actual personality is like. But he's running up and down the pitch now with Reevesy, as you boys know, leading the way, with all the players doing their extra work, and he's there at the front, and it looks like he's reining himself in. He could go quicker if he wanted to, but he's staying there for other players. He looks comfortable in his environment, and I think he's a real good signing. Some people might say too early to say, but sometimes you just get a feel for a player. What I've seen, he hasn't got too many shortcomings. I think he's a great addition.
What Matt's actually saying is he's got everything that Matt didn't as a player.
Pretty much, Takes. Pretty much, mate. That's what I think. It spawned into jealousy, I think.
Matt, just a word on Aaron Ramsey, of course, a debut to forget in many ways for him. And it could be that he faces some criticism now from Fox's fans who have seen him and excited about his prospects.
Yeah.
What's he got to do now? Because he's going to have to really get them back on side.
Well, to be fair, he hasn't done himself any favours, or anyone any favours, really, with the challenge. I haven't seen a replay. What are we saying? Are we saying a red card?
Yeah.
It's a red, but I don't think he's meant. He tried going for the ball, but he's completely mistimed it.
Yeah,
That's
he's
all
mistimed.
it is.
He's a little bit high, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's not done any damage with that high challenge. So as Dave said, it's a mistimed challenge. But on the plus side,
overzealous.
Yeah, but on the plus side, if you're looking, you can flip that round and say, well, there's a player that's willing to make those types of challenges.
Yeah.
They try and win the ball back. So that's the type of mindset you want in a player. Yes, he's got to rein it in. We've seen Abdul Fatawi do it a couple of seasons ago at Coventry, where he got a straight red for a similar type of challenge. And Leicester went on to lose a game. Thankfully, that didn't happen today. But you knew that having a player up with the attitude of an Abdul Fatawi in the long run was going to be good for Leicester.
Yeah.
And similarly, you're looking at that challenge and saying, oh, sorry, mate, it's a red card, but...
Yeah, doesn't hold back.
But I like your attitude. I like the way you wanted to win that ball back. You've just got to be... You know.
Yeah, and similar to what you said, Tags, I heard you say about you liked his positional sense, and I did. Okay, a couple of touches, didn't quite come off, but he looked assured. He looked like he believes he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
It must be frustrating for him to be going, leaving Burnley in the situation as they are, having that chance in the Premier League and then find himself back in the Championship. But that doesn't seem to phase him. I don't know. Maybe it gives him a bit of fire to get there next season. With his new club, etc. Let's see what develops. It's a long way off, but. Yeah, I liked him. Not arrogance, but he looked like he knew what he was doing. He was having a look round. He was aware, picking up positions, and I got the feeling that he feels he could make a big impression if he's given the right service and fed the balls in the right areas. And and then, like you say, having that. It wasn't. I didn't think it was out of frustration that things weren't going his way, that he's dived in a bit. I thought it was just a natural element of his game, or something that he's learned or been coached, react straight away. And he's gone for the challenge. He's backed himself. He's a little bit excited, making his debut for a new team. Wants to make an impression. Overzealous. It wasn't malicious, was it? But no. Again, to me, he looks like a strong acquisition at this level of football.
Yeah, certainly a keenness to impress. what's really interesting and probably quite exciting for Martí Cifuentes, even from us watching the game and talking, when you're thinking you're in a situation you need to change things, looking at Leicester's options today, there were quite a few. You could do this, but you could also bring this player in, and that's going to be brilliant going through the season.
Yeah, well, you've seen obviously the new guy, striker, Carranza, Monga on the bench. Obviously Daka coming on, Harry Winks coming on, Ricardo Pereira coming on. A lot of these, you said, then you'll get into a lot of high-end championship sides or even lower league and Premier League teams. So they've got the squad now. It's just how he utilises it. Obviously with Monga today, it probably wasn't the right game for him. Just because we went to a free midfield and 2 strikers. There was no width in the game, so it was pointless bringing them on. So I thought he did well, changing the formation, bringing on a striker, and Patson who can hair people in behind with his pace. So yeah, I think for the manager, fair play to him. He's got the tools to make decisions.
And we know what this league's like. There's going to be more games like today, where it's a bit of a crazy game.
I think every game's been an absolute grind, but we all speak about it. The players surely now understand it. It doesn't matter where you go or whether you're playing at King Power or playing away from home. Every game is a bit of a grind. It's a grind, because what the Championship lacks in Premier League quality, technical ability, they make up for it in the willingness to work hard, that grit, determination, the fitness levels, and sometimes in the simplicity of the way the managers set their teams up. They're not trying to get them to, try and over-egg the pudding. At times in the way that they set the formation up, the way they want them to play. A lot of the times the game is simplified for the players, which in itself causes problems for oppositions like Leicester City, because they're a team that obviously want to get on the ball and play out. And you'll get opposition teams that just bombard you with long passes, like today with a big centre forward, cause all kinds of problems for Oxford. So you're gonna have a real mix up and a different kind of teams playing different kind of formations and styles of football.
And of course, with Coventry on the horizon, another match that you don't need to get too. You don't need too much working up for.
Typical, M69 derby. It'll be another frantic game. Coventry doing really well under Frank Lampard. But these are the games you want to play in. The big games in the Championship. Local derby. Fans will be right behind you. Go out there, perform, and become a hero out there.
Well, let's take a look at what else is to come in the coming weeks here on Fox's Hub. Because, of course, the Championship season is relentless. And it continues Saturday, the 20th of September. Leicester against Coventry. We'll have you covered live from midday for a 12:30 kickoff. Remember, you can get your international season pass via the website lcfc.com and your Listen Live seasonal pass as well. So have a little look at the options that best suit you at lcfc.com. Thank you so much to David Nugent and to Jerry Taggart, to Chris Parrott and Matt Elliott at the Kassam Stadium, and thank you for watching today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and we'll see you next time.